Welcome to my updated 2025 beginner guide for the Isle of Evrima. If you're a new player or considering buying the game, I really hope this guide helps you. Here's how you can install Evrima. After buying the game on Steam, go to your Steam library and right click on the Isle. Go to Properties, Betas, and then select Evrima. Evrima will then start to install. The reason for doing this is because there are two versions of the game, Legacy version and Evrima. If you were wondering why your game didn't look like the ones you had seen online, this is why. Once you have opened the game, press play and you will see a list of the official servers. Official servers are run by the developers. I would suggest pressing the ping button here in order to find the server you will have the best ping on. If you go over here to the session filter, you can swap to the unofficial servers, which are hosted by players. These servers can have custom attributes like faster growing times, however some servers also have certain rules that you'll need to follow or else you will be banned from them. They may also require you to join their Discord server in order to play. Once you join a server, you will be presented with this screen. Here you can pick what dino you want to spawn as. Your options are a carnivore that eats meat, a herbivore that eats plants, and an omnivore that eats both. As a new player, you may be wondering what the most beginner-friendly dinos are. I would say play as whatever dino you feel like playing, however I would say if you find yourself struggling to survival learn the game, here are some I would recommend. For carnivores, I would say the most beginner-friendly dinosaur would be the Cerato, as it grows fast compared to something like the Dino. It's also very strong in combat. As a new player, you may also struggle to find food. However, it can eat rotten meat, so that sure helps. For herbivores, I would definitely recommend the Patchy, as it's very easy to play, it grows very fast, and it has a strong attack that can break other dinosaurs' bones. For omnivores, I would say both options are good, as they are both very fast and that makes it easy to escape and stay alive. However, when playing as the Beppy, you may want to be watching out for dinos. Spawning as an egg is also an option. If you see this red button go green, it means that there is currently an egg you can spawn in as. You will have players as your parents, and you will need to hold down E for them to feed you when you're hungry. Moving on to controls, this game's controls are fairly basic and straightforward. The movement keys are like any other game. WASD to walk, and space is to jump. Some dinos can't jump, so you have to test that out for yourself. Left click is your main attack, and right click is your special attack. Scrolling on your mouse wheel will zoom your camera in and out. Holding down shift will make your dinosaur sprint, and control will make it crouch. Sprinting will however use up your stamina bar, which is this footprint right here. In order to regain your stamina, you need to stop sprinting. You can also gain it back faster by pressing H to lie down. However, be careful where you do this as it will get you killed if you cannot get up fast enough before another dinosaur attacks you. If you are laying down and then hold down H to sleep, this is how you log off the game safely. If you press the escape key and just press log off, your dino will remain in the server for 60 seconds, and that runs a high risk of you being killed while not on the game. The next important keybind is X. This will enable your night vision when it goes dark, and lets you see in the game's night cycle. Some dinosaurs can see further than others at nighttime, so be aware of that. For example, the Dilophosaurus is a great nighttime hunter. Also, if you can't figure out what keybind a specific control is on, you can press escape, then go to controls, and see your controls for every single action in the game right here. You can also change actions to another keybind if you don't like certain keybinds. The calls. Number 1 is your broadcast. It's a very loud roar that people can hear from far away. And if you hold down 1, it will do an even louder roar. If you press your 2 key, this is a friendly call. If you hold it down, that's how you invite the same species of dinosaur to your group. Number 3 is a threaten call. This can scare off other dinosaurs, or it can start a fight. Number 4 is your scared call. You can ask for help from your teammates. People also use it as a surrender call. However, I will warn you, 99% of players will completely ignore you if you try to use 4 to surrender, and will try to kill you, so do not rely on it. Pressing F is your regular talking roar. It's the sound you make when you type in chat by pressing enter. One thing to also note is that when you chat with dinos, you can only speak to the dinos that are the same species as you. There's no global chat. In order to see your dinosaur's information, press the tab key. Moving over to the left side of this menu, you can see your status report. This is where you see your dino's buffs and debuffs. Above it, you have the character and group tab, where you can press the group button to see the members currently in your group. Next to that, you have your dinosaur's profile data. Here you can see if your dino is male or female, its age, mating status, and if you have eggs gestated. I will explain more about this later in the video. Here you can see your weight, max speed, and bite force. Your weight is your health, and your bite force is your damage. You can use these stats to compare to other dinos to see how hard it would be to kill them in a fight. As you will grow, your stats will get stronger until you reach adult, and then your stats are maxed out. Next, we have your nest site, which you can use to track down your nest if you have created one and lost it. Next to the nest site, we have asset location. You can click this to copy it to your clipboard, and then come over to this website that I will link down in the description. You can then paste your location in the top left, where you will see where you currently are on the map, and see the direction you're going in using the compass in game, which I will show you how to use in just a second. At the bottom of the screen here, you can see your current growth rate as a percentage by hovering over the bar. This moving line down the bottom of your screen is your health bar. Green means you're on full HP, yellow means you're at half HP, and red means you're close to dying. Okay, let's talk about diets. Your diets are these 3 hexagons here. This S symbol is protein, the 2 lines are lipids, and the 3 dots are carbohydrates. Filling them up is straightforward. Here in the tab menu, you can see your dinosaur's preferred food. Next to it, you can see which diet it will fill when eaten. Diets will give you certain buffs like faster health regeneration or bone break resistance. Diets are especially helpful in the early game as you can get increased growth rate for your dinosaur, as you see here. So for example, if you're playing this dino here, the baby, and needed an S diet, you could go to the water biome and eat bullfrogs. Also, as a carnivore, if you find a body or kill another player, you can spam E on their body to rip out their organs. Then, once that's done, you can press G to take them out. Eating their heart will give you S diet, eating their lungs will give you the dots, and eating their intestines will give you the lines diet. Additionally, you can also eat their stomach to gain the diet they ate last. Food and water. In order to get food for your diets, you need to know how to find it. So, here is how you find food and water. First, start by holding down Q. This will bring up your compass at the top of the screen. You can see this dip here which means south, and this peak here which means the north. If you hold it down for around 10 seconds, it will begin to show you all kinds of symbols representing food and danger. There are zones in the aisle where you can find food. First, I will explain the zones, and then all of the food and other symbols on the compass. Starting off with zones, this is called a sanctuary. You can only sniff these out if you're small enough. Here you will find these small red mushrooms that you can eat. They will fill up all 3 of your nutrients in your diet, which will give you the maximum growth speed, so they are very helpful if you find one when you spawn in. Be careful, as once you grow, there are bees which will attack any dino too big for the zone. Next we have the patrol zone. It's a smaller zone that spawns your dino's preferred food if you're a herbivore. As a carnivore, you can also smell these zones and go there to hunt the herbivores. So if you are playing a herbivore, be very wary of your surroundings. The last zone is the migration zone. It's a larger version of the patrol zone, containing the foods that would be on a herbivore's diet. You're likely to run into other dinosaurs here, herbivores and also carnivores again, so be careful when going to them. Okay, moving on to the other symbols for finding food and water. Here is the symbol for drinkable water. Then we have these symbols here which are showing the different states of the body that is not on your diet. If you find a rotten corpse, be aware that you cannot eat rotten food without getting sick, which will cause you to throw up your food, water, and ruin your diet. Unless you're playing as a Dino or a Cerato, then you can eat rotten food. The final way to find food is AI. Around the map there are certain chickens, goats, and hogs wandering around. If you listen carefully for their calls, you can find them, go to their location, and kill them for food. Okay, mutations. As you grow in the aisle, you unlock mutation points. You can tell when you have a mutation point available by this icon here in the bottom right of your screen. These will give you certain permanent buffs, like for example, when it rains you gain water, or when a dinosaur is low you deal extra damage to it. Choosing what mutations you want is completely up to you, as I would say it depends on your playstyle. Eggs and nesting. Moving on to nesting, if you want to raise a dino family consisting of other players, then you will love this feature. Once you're fully grown, you can look for a mate. If you find another player to raise babies with, you will need to stand close to them and hold down N in order to pair with them. Once paired, you can build your nest by pressing N and choose where to place it. Once done, you need to hold down Q to sniff out debris. You can then go over to them, pick them up, and bring them back until your nest is built. Once complete, the female can go to the nest and hold down E in order to lay the eggs. You then need to keep adding nest material in order to keep the eggs incubated. However, some dinosaur nests will need you to lay on the eggs to keep them warm. You can check what your nest needs by checking the nest tab. For the final part of this guide, we have combat. I will go over the most important mechanics you need to know in order to fight off other players, or kill them for food. All dinos will have different abilities, so you will have to test that out for yourself, but here are the basics you need to know for combat. Firstly, we have the left click ability, which will be your bite or scratch. Then your right click is your special ability. Next, we have the alt ability. Hold down your alt key and press left or right click to test out your dino. This ability can be used when you want to turn directions when hitting an opponent. Damage in the aisle is based on the part of the body you hit with your attacks. If you hit them in the tail, you won't do much damage. Body shots do medium damage, and hitting a player in the head is most optimal as it does way more damage. For example, a Stego's tail attack hitting a Carno in the head can one-shot them. So, use this knowledge to avoid hits to your head while trying to hit your opponent in theirs. Bone break. You can break bones by falling from a height or being hit by certain dinosaurs like the Patchy. If it manages to hit you in your legs, it will break them. If you get a bone break on your head, you will have very limited vision. If you do get into a fight where you end up getting a bone break, what you want to do is try to end the fight with them, and then leave into a bush or safe area, lay down by pressing H, and you will heal your broken bones way faster. Certain attacks in this game cause bleed. Be careful to watch this bar while in a fight, because this bar essentially means how much blood you have left. If it becomes completely empty, your dinosaur will die from blood loss. So if it gets low, you might need to either take a risk to end the fight and kill your opponent, or you can run away. Once safe, you need to lay down until the blood symbol gets a plus in it like this icon here. Once you see the plus, you can then stand up again. Some dinosaurs also have a venom attack. Right now, the dinos that can inflict venom are Dilophosaurus and the Troodon. The venom attacks work in 3 stages. For the Dillo, the first 2 stages reduce the player's ability to see by surrounding them in fog, and causes the player that gets attacked to have hallucinations of copies of the Dillo. Then in stage 3, the Dillo can spawn clones that will deal damage to the player, and stops the person being attacked from knowing which one is the real Dillo. The Troodon's venom works by causing damage over time, and also it makes the player hit by the Troodon take more damage once they reach stage 2, and once they reach stage 3, they are taking even more damage per hit. That's the end of this guide. If you're stuck with something, or have a question, drop a comment down below, and I'll do my best to respond to everyone. Also, if you like dinosaur game content, please consider checking out my channel, as I upload videos on the Isle and Path of Titans.